Hey guys, and welcome to another session with Matlog. Today we're going to be talking about a concept in calculus. In this video, we're going to be learning what calculus is, how to differentiate basic functions in calculus, and rules in differentiating those functions. Now, let's get into it. Now, what is calculus? Calculus is basically a branch of mathematics that deals with the study of change and motion. Now let's imagine a car being in a constant motion, traveling from a point A to a point B. Now we're interested in how fast that car is traveling. Now bringing about the speedometer of a car, which actually shows us how fast that car is moving over time. This represents the derivative, dy dx, bringing us into our topic for today, differentiation. Now let's get into it. Now let's represent that same motion on a graph. We have two axes, time, and we have the position. Now each point tells us where the car is at a specific moment, and when we connect those points, we now know and see how the motion happens over time. Now let's assume we have another graph showing us otherwise. We have a graph that's in position against time, but in this case, the car is at rest, which will result in derivative being equals to 0. Now we have y given as x squared. Now derivative of that x squared is going to give rise to 2x. Now let's explain this a bit better to our understanding. Now basically what I'm trying to say is if we differentiate, or the differentiation of a particular function will give rise to its derivative. Moving on, let's go into some of the formulas or some of the rules that are used in solving differentiation equations or differentiation functions. Now we have the first principle, which is basically the originator of all other rules, and the first principle deals with the limit of a particular function minus the function over change in x, everything being displayed on the screen. We have the power rule, which we are going to be basing on today. We have some other rules which are very important, and we're going into them in later videos. We have the sum and difference rule, we have the product rule, and finally we have the quotient rule. Product rule being used for products, functions being multiplied together, and quotient rule being functions dividing themselves. Now I said we're speaking on the power rule, which is given by a n x raised power n minus 1. Let's assume we have a function 4x raised power 2. Now let's define the parameters, a being equals to 4 and n equals to 2, just as based in the formula above. So that's what we're going to be working with. Now let's take an example. Let's assume we are told to differentiate a particular function with respect to x. Let's take a function, let's say the function is x raised power 4. Now to solve something like that, we have to determine the derivative, and the derivative is given by d dx of x raised power 4. We remember our formula, and the parameters from one given is n is equals to 4. Now if the power n is equals to 4, bringing it to the front and multiplying the coefficient in front would give rise, and reduce the reduction of the power will give rise to our result, which is 4x raised power 3. Now let's remember and know that the derivative of a constant is 0. Another example being, we are told to find the derivative, which is d dx of 2x raised power 3. Like I said, it's just taking the power, bringing it to multiply the coefficient of x, and reducing that power on top by 1. So we have 6x raised power 2. Now let's assume we have another function, but in this case we are having a conjunction of two functions. You know, the ones we have been doing have been basic. Now we have this particular function and this particular function, being we are told in the question to differentiate them. Now all we need to do is just understand that we have to differentiate them individually. We have d dx of this particular function and d dx of 5x raised power 3. Now on differentiating either of them, just following the rules, we should have 12x plus 15x raised power 2, just as the rule says. Now let's quickly try this and see what we get. Now on reducing this or differentiating this, we should have 4x raised power 3 plus 20x raised power 3. If you don't have that, that is wrong. I hope with that short explanation you have been able to understand the basics of differentiation using the power rule. Now, thank you very much for watching. This is Matlog, and I'll catch you guys in the next session. Don't forget to leave a like. Thank you.